One of the suggestions that I have received from students is to show them how to read an annual report. And one of the challenges that I have is that students pick up different components. So it's really hard to know which one to illustrate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for a list of the largest public companies and see what we get, and then we'll go from there. So it seems that, okay, as of now, it seems to be NVIDIA, the largest company. So let's search on NVIDIA. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you why sometimes AI is not really good at the help that we ask us to provide for us. So what I did is I asked Perplexity to write me easy instructions on how to read an annual report. And it told me to look into the CEO's letter, which is real good in the case of Berkshire Hathaway and other select companies. But for most companies, it either doesn't exist or it's really complicated. The second step was to read the business description. This sort of makes sense. What is absolutely silly is to look at the risk factors. This is just a whole list of things which are only provided for compliance reasons, and it makes no sense to look at them for someone who is not a financial analyst. Then it tells us to look into the financial statements, but it doesn't show us where it is. And then the management discussions and analysis, and then the footnotes. You will be really lost if you were to look at the footnotes or at the legal proceedings. In this case, AI and Perplexity have done a real bad job on giving instructions on how to read an annual report. So let me open a new tab. And what we're going to do is we're going to search for NVIDIA's annual report. And so I'm going to go to this link. And then what I highly recommend you to do is not to look at the annual reports. It's much, much better if you try to search for events and presentations. When you click here, try to look for any presentations that they would have prepared. And let me look into one. This is just about the quarterly results. This one is a meeting of shareholders, which could be good. But it'll be better if we get into anything like an investors conference, right? Let's see if we can, oh, no, this is a webcast, so it will not work. Let me look into this one and see what we get. Yes, this one looks better. What we are able to see here is a bit about the company. And it's going to be much, much easier for us to understand the financial statements once we understand the business. And this type of PowerPoints are going to make it much easier to be able to do that. So try to search for as many presentations as you possibly can to learn about the company. And then let's go into the annual report. So we'll go back. We're going to click on the annual report. That's the latest one. And here we will have all the same slides in the case of NVIDIA that we were seeing before, but for other companies, we just won't have it. Now, if you were to look into the index, the problem that you will have is that it's overwhelming, right? I don't have the patience to read through every single line. And this doesn't clearly show me where the income statements or the financial statements are. All these things are super boring, in my opinion, and that's not what I'm looking for when I'm trying to evaluate a company. For example, if we look into risks, which was one of the things that was shown on the comments by Perplexity, this is about compensation, which is interesting, but not, what you really want to look at. What you could also do is you could do Control F, and then type what you want to fund. And what we will get, 181 different quotes for risk. So it's not a useful way to find it either. Now imagine that we look for financial statements. So now we have 42 or so different selections, and this one is really hard to look at. So an easier way to do it will be to first go to the 10K and find specifically information about the income statement. So what we're going to do is we're going to open a new tab, and we're going to say NVIDIA, and then 10K. We're going to go back there and then look for the 10K, which will be an annual filing. We will find it. And then what you can do for any companies, you want to go to item number 7. On item number 7, you will find all the financial information and what they call the management discussion. So when we click on item 7, we would see, some of the comments that they have about the company, but most importantly, you will get to see the summarized income statement. So now I can see the revenue for the year, and always look for the full year reports, not for the quarterly reports, because there's a lot of seasonality in those. And then if I scroll down, I will see more and more details on the P&L and on reporting by segments and so on. So this will be the two different ways to go about it. On some other annual reports, it would be much easier to find information. But overall, the best way to find comparative data for any company is to type WSJ for the Wall Street Journal, then the name of the company, in this case NVIDIA, and then financial statements or financial results. Then you will click here. You don't need a subscription to see this, and you will click on financials, and you will go into the income statements. And by doing this, you will be able to see the key financial ratios, like revenue and cost and so on, in a way that is comparable and easy to follow. In my opinion, it would be much better if you do first the presentations, then the Wall Street Journal, and then go into the annual report, which will take you quite a bit more time to understand. I hope this is helpful.